Today we're going to be discussing a few things about school safety, mainly lockdown and lockout procedures. There are two types of safety events. A lockout is minimal interruption, and a lockdown is a significant emergency occurring within our school.
A lockout is a minimal interruption event. It's called because there's an event happening outside of the building, but it's not an imminent threat to anyone or anything inside of the building. For example, a local business was robbed and the perpetrators are on the loose. What will happen is we will say, "Attention, we are now going into a lockout." All of the exterior doors would be locked at that time, no one would be allowed into the building, and teachers can continue to teach as normal. Students can continue to move about the building, and so periods will take place as scheduled.
Soft lockdown. It is called a soft lockdown because there is a need to keep everyone in their rooms, but there is not an active threat. Usually a soft lockdown is called out of an abundance of caution. For example, there's a parent or a former student in the building that is not perceived as a threat but shouldn't be walking around the halls. At this time, we would say, "Attention, we are now going into a soft lockdown. All exterior and interior doors should be locked. No one would be allowed into the building. Teachers can continue to teach as normal. Students will remain in their rooms. Students should not use their cell phones. All fire alarms should be ignored, and staff should call the office for emergencies only. Teachers should open their doors for law enforcement or an identified administrator. Listen and wait for further directions."
An emergency lockdown is called because there's a significant and credible threat. For example, there is an active shooter in the building. We will say, "Attention, we are now going into an emergency lockdown," and we will also identify the threat in specific language. Run, hide, fight is now in effect. You are to assess the situation to determine whether running or hiding is your safest option. Run. Run out of the building and far away until you are in a safe location. Leave personal belongings behind. Take others with you if you can. Hide. The lights should be turned off. Barricade the doors, and students should be out of sight. Students should not use cell phones. Fight. This is a last resort. Only when your life is in imminent danger. The goal is to delay, disarm, or distract the shooter. Act with physical aggression and throw things at the shooter. Improvise weapons and commit to your actions. During an emergency lockdown, all fire alarms should be ignored. Staff should call the office for emergencies only.
At this time, we would like to show the video Run, Hide, Fight.
Our schools are among the safest places anywhere. Children are safer in school than they are at home, at the mall, riding their bike, or driving in a car. But as safe as our school buildings are, we've all heard reports of violent attacks in places that no one dreamed would ever be in danger. Places like Columbine, Newtown, and Franklin Regional. Troubled people sometimes lash out in violent ways. Sometimes there are warning signs, and sometimes they aren't noticed or taken seriously. The increased prevalence of guns in the home has made access to weapons much easier for children and youth. We need to be prepared for the worst to ensure students and staff members know how to protect themselves from harm. In the event that an individual enters your school with a weapon, your survival may depend on the plan you have developed and practiced far ahead of time. There are 3 things you can remember that can save a life. Run, hide, fight. Always remember, if you see something, say something. If you hear another student talking about attacking a classmate or having a weapon at school, report it. At the first sign that there is an armed intruder in your building, your initial response should be to get to a safe place. Secondly, you should alert others and call 911.
I think there's been a school shooting.
To get out of harm's way needs to be your #1 priority. You then need to decide whether you will run, hide, or fight. If there is an escape path, you should attempt to evacuate. Students need to stay calm and move swiftly as they follow the teacher's instructions. Staff members should help students escape and prevent others from entering the area. Get out quickly, leaving personal belongings behind. The only exception is staff should take their cell phone and classroom go kit if possible. If evacuation is not possible, find a place to hide. Determine if the area you are in can be secured. Stay calm and remember, help is on the way. Students can help by keeping classmates calm and listening to staff members' instructions. Block doors by using furniture and other available items. Silence all electronic devices and be very still. Even though your first instinct may be to call home, your safety depends on keeping quiet. As a last resort, if your lives are at risk, fight. Adults should take the lead to protect students. Use anything that can be used as a weapon against your attacker. Chairs, hot coffee, fire extinguishers, books, and any other improvised weapon. Act aggressively and commit to your actions in order to disarm your attacker. When law enforcement arrives on the scene, their focus will be on apprehending the suspect. Once that has been accomplished, medical staff will then enter the building and treat any injuries. Be aware of your environment and consider all options for exiting to safety. Always have an evacuation plan that staff and students are capable of following. In an incident like this, victims are generally chosen randomly. The event is unpredictable and may unfold quickly. The first law enforcement on the scene are not there to evacuate or help the injured. They are well trained and are there to stop the attacker.